Following a reminder to meeting attendees that this is a formal meeting, I can advise that members of the public will be given an opportunity to speak during public open session, but not at other times. The meeting is being filmed, and by being present, attendees are deemed to have agreed to be filmed and to the use of those images and sound recordings. I can advise that attendees should not disclose any personal information of individuals, as this would infringe the data protection rights of that individual. And can I please ask everyone to mute their microphones when not speaking? Thank you very much. Okay, first item on the agenda is apologies for absence. And we've got apologies of absence from Councillor Albone, Councillor Russell, Councillor Sajid, Councillor Patel, Councillor Knight and Councillor Skilton. And I'm conscious that two of those may end up joining us later on online, perhaps as well, but I wanted to record their apologies just in case they can't make it. Okay, item number 2 then, declarations of interest. So 2A, disclosable, and B, non-pecuniary interests on any agenda item. Do members have any pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests for this evening? Nope. Okay, thank you very much. On to item 3 then, Mayor's announcements. I've just got a few little things really. First of all, it was a real pleasure to be involved in, I suppose towards the end, presenting some of the awards at the Run the Wade event organised by Jones Fitness a few weeks ago. There were approximately about 800 participants in the Run the Wade race, which is both 5K and 10K running race around town and the immediate environment. I think they're keen to grow this in future years, so it's something we'll have to consider how we can best support that perhaps. But it was a really popular event, lots of people in town, nice warm day I guess as well, which helped too. So it's great to see those events being organised in the town and being well supported by residents as well. The other item is last Saturday I was invited as one of the guests to the Royal Artillery Association 80th anniversary, and that was the Biggleswade branch of the Royal Artillery Association had their 80th birthday party, and there was a range of guests there in attendance from national bodies, national organisations, as well as Major Simon Sadler, who's one of the Deputy Lieutenants of Bedfordshire as well, one of our DLs supporting that event, which was great to see. And the band of the Sea Cadets did a performance in the garden at the Conservative Club as part of the event as well. So that was whilst avoiding the rain that afternoon. And then thirdly, I'd also like to I guess put on record that I'm not quite sure what the right phrase is, but just to recognise that one of our members of staff, the Deputy Administration HR Manager, Deputy HR Manager, attended the Buckingham Palace Garden Party a few weeks ago as a guest of the Lord Lieutenant in recognition of her work through the Town Council, and that's Funda Gamush. So I just wanted to recognise that for colleagues that were not aware that she was able to attend that as part of the Lord Lieutenant's group as well. Okay, right. On to item 4, public open session. Is there anyone online? Asia? No. Okay. Okay, and then we've got, straight through to item number 5. We got there a bit quicker than I thought we would. So we've got this evening, we've got Amanda Hyam, the Biggleswade Community Agent from Beds RCC, and outgoing community agent, I think, as well. So if you want to use the mics, and you've got sort of about 10, 15 minutes, I think, Nicola, about that, yeah. And then we'll take questions as part of that from members as well. But if you wanted to say a few words. There is I believe there's some statistics and information in the pack as well that hopefully members have read relating to what the role of the community agent is and the kind of, I guess, output and kind of different things that they've been involved in. So that should hopefully help frame the discussion afterwards as well. But over to you.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I'm Julie Balaam, the current community agent. I think I've met most of you. And this is Amanda, the incoming community agent as of next week. So we're just in the process of doing a handover. Thank you for inviting us here tonight to talk about the work of the community agent role funded by Biggleswade Town Council. I've circulated a short paper that Jonathan just referred to that summarises the work that we did in the previous financial year up to the 31st of March. I'll just draw on some key points from that as well, and then happy to take questions in the discussion at the end. So continuing really with quite a high referral rate as we've had over the last 3 years, particularly with this time a high proportion of pension age clients. So nearly 70% of our referrals in the previous financial year were for people aged 65 and over. We do continue to support a number of working age clients, particularly those with long-term physical and mental health issues, and also families as well. The complexity of support needed by clients continues to increase. So overall, that generally means that we are spending more time working one-on-one with clients, and the overall number of home visits has consequently increased because the number of visits required to support a person through whatever it is we're helping with generally increases with that complexity of need. And again, that is largely seems to be associated with increasing physical and mental health issues and the support that people need to remain independent and to address financial issues as well. So, as I said, the majority of clients this previous year were pension age, and as we've seen previously, most of the support needs there are around remaining independent. So it's access to things like disability benefits, attendance allowance, which is the benefit for older people, and blue badges. We've had a significant increase in the application rate for blue badges, but we've also seen quite an increase in the number of means-tested benefits that older people are now seeking to apply for. So there's suggesting there's evidence of increased financial hardship for older people as well. And that's been things like housing benefit, council tax support, and quite a high referral rate to the local food bank as well. In terms of the working age clients we support, then we still are working with quite a lot of adults with learning difficulties, and as I said, those with health issues as well. And again, most of that support focuses on helping them to access disability benefits, so that's primarily PIF, but other support has also included access to social housing and also some debt-related support as well. In terms of notable little bits and pieces of work I've done outside of the day-to-day client support, we've worked quite closely with Baptist Church Food Bank this year, who are now the primary food bank in Biggleswade. Because of the significant increase in the number of clients needing food parcels, and often that's not just one or two, it can be an ongoing need. We've trialled and implemented a new block referral system with the food bank that means we can actually help clients now access the food bank for up to 3 months with one referral, which increases the overall number of food parcels that our clients are able to receive, but decreases the administrative burden for both us and also for the food bank as well. So that's been working really well. I was also approached earlier this year, so towards the end of the winter, by Biggleswade Warm Spaces to ask if I could help facilitate a discussion with those involved in providing warm spaces and other community groups around Biggleswade. They've noticed particularly the warm space provision has noticed a real decline in attendance in previous winters, this winter in particular. So trying to understand why that's the case, but also primarily trying to work out what we can do with that volunteer support that's there. People want to help the vulnerable in the community, but the warm spaces aren't quite reaching those who need the help in the current format. So that's something I help to start the discussions on, along with our social prescribers as well, and representatives from some of the warm spaces in Biggleswade. I've included a couple of examples in the report of the type of client that we typically support, so I will just briefly talk to those. So there's an elderly client that I supported for around 7 or 8 months last year. Was referred to the service following a short hospital stay. No family, lives alone, and had been independent up to that point, but with declining memory and increasingly significant health issues, was no longer able to remain independent. So I worked with a number of other agencies through a multi-agency approach to help secure financial support for the client to access social care and get a care package in place. We helped with things like Blue Badge and bus passes and that kind of thing, but also referred him in for other services, both within Beds RCC and externally. So he also benefited from the winter warmth agent support that we offered, which actually was Amanda, and also our social prescribing. He was a client that had real a real desire to remain independent and was very mistrustful of having to accept support. But together we were all able to help him get as much support in place as possible. So it was a really good use of multiple agencies working together and a good use of our time. Second example is a working age client who experienced a significant onset of a health issue last year, which meant they were no longer able to work and they could no longer afford the private rented accommodation they were living in. So I helped them to apply for discretionary housing payment to meet their rent shortfall as a short-term solution, and then also to apply for the housing register as a longer-term solution. Again, they were also supported by Amanda as winter warmth agent, by our social prescriber and by the Good Neighbours as well. Feedback has been very positive throughout the year. I think, as I've said before, it highlights the unique support that the community agent role offers, and that it's one-to-one, it's usually in people's homes, and it can be tailored to meet the individual needs. We're not bounded by certain restrictions on what we can and can't do within the role itself. So we're able to be flexible and help support people in the way that meets their needs best. So as you know, I'm moving into a new role at Beds RCC. I'm very pleased to be handing over to Amanda, who has previously worked for Beds RCC, both on Good Neighbours schemes, community connectors, and most recently as the winter warmth agent. She brings a wealth of experience and I think will be a great asset to Biggleswade. So thank you for your continued support, and yeah, I'm happy to take any questions or discuss the paper further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. That's great. And having had the Biggleswade Good Neighbours as one of my charities over the past year, it's great to see how some of that kind of has been working in practice as well. So any questions from members at all? Councillor Barrett.
Not a question as such, but just say thank you very much and wish you well in the new role, and excellent work that hopefully will continue. One sort of light-hearted sort of comment in here. I was looking at the demographics. It seems that men over 60 are the ones that need a lot of help. So there's a few people in here that may also fall into that as well. 82% of men over 60 in your demographic.
For everyone.
Yeah, whereas women.
Councillor Jones.
Thank you. I have so many quips I want to come back at you with that,
Yeah.
but I'll decline for now. Again, I echo what Councillor Barrett and Councillor Wood has said and say thank you very much and wish you all the best for future roles. I have one question just on what you shared just now. It just occurred to me when you said that the warm spaces wasn't really doing as well as we might have anticipated. In your experience, what do you think, if, you know, resource and time and everything wasn't an issue, what would be a better use of some of those resources?
So before I was approached to help get that discussion started, I'd actually had conversations with various clients and also our social prescribers, and something that there seems to be quite a demand for is a sort of lunchtime provision. So even if it was just once a month, some kind of lunch club where people could come along to one of the venues that, you know, regularly are hosting warm spaces or community groups, and then depending on the resources available, either make a small contribution or possibly for free, have a simple lunch, a jacket potato with you know, whatever. And it would mean it's a hot meal for someone, it's socialising, it's that social context. That seems to be something that there's a demand for, that both I and my social prescribing colleagues have recognised. So that's one thing that's being considered. Whether the need for warm spaces as they currently exist will increase again this coming winter, given our wider economic situation, I don't know. And I do wonder whether it's partly down to sort of needing to refresh and remarket the offer, because I think they were quite widely used and taken up when they first started 3 years or so ago. So it's maybe just a bit of a rebrand as well, perhaps, and just trying to reach other parts of the community that perhaps don't know they're there. But the Labour Hall warm space, for example, that offers a kitchen where people can bring their own food if they want to, cook a meal, use a washing machine. That's quite a unique offer in Biggleswade, and it's completely free, and they just weren't getting anyone coming along to use it this year, which is a bit of a wasted resource and opportunity, I think.
No, that's super helpful. Thank you. And just kind of a follow-up question. Councillor Woodhead.
Yep, of course.
Okay. Just thinking, based on the lunch club, so I have personal experience with caring, so I know the break that a carer gets when somebody goes to something like that.
Yeah.
Do you look after or do you help people who have carers, or do you tend to just focus on the people who don't have any additional support?
No, we're open to everybody. So it could be a person like the client I gave the example of who lives completely alone. He did have some support from a neighbour, but had no family or friends other than that supporting them, to someone who has supporting relatives, already may have other agencies involved with them. There can still be a role for us to help specifically for applying for a certain benefit or helping to connect them to another service. So we don't really have any criteria for, we're open to support for everyone, basically. Yeah. Thank you.
Good luck with the new role.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any more questions? I've got a couple from using chair's privilege, if that's okay.
Sure.
There's a couple I'll reel off and then you can come back to me. The first one I had was really around the, obviously central beds have had this issue around the council tax support reduction.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could comment on that, whether that's seen a particular spike recently in work or concern or whatever. So that being the one point. And then the second point was, if you could just explore a little bit more about your work with the food bank. I was really pleased to hear about the one referral, but if you could expand a little bit more on that,
Sure.
that would be great. Yeah, I think they're the main two. I was going to comment about the warm spaces thing, and I think when initially it was set up, there were a particular set of circumstances where the energy was extremely high and so on and so forth. That may happen again, but I think there's been other mitigations that may have happened since then, or and the winters perhaps wasn't quite as mild last year, etc., etc. But it's an interesting thought that perhaps repackaging it or advertising it could attract more interest, or maybe other things that are attracting people in the day to go to, and it's socialisation. I don't know, but yeah. So I mean, anything on the food bank or the council tax exemption will be helpful.
Sure. Just before I come to those two, on that latter point around the warm spaces, Biggleswade is blessed with a really good network of community groups run largely by voluntary organisations, and they do, I think, meet quite a lot of the need out there. So I think that's a real asset that the community has. In terms of the changes to council tax support, it's definitely something that's caused concern for many clients. Obviously, it isn't something we can really do to change that situation. We have been asked if we can apply for funding elsewhere, or I've certainly been asked if we can apply for funding elsewhere to cover that, whatever percentage that person is now expected to pay, but there are no alternative funds available. So yes, it has caused concern for people, for sure. In terms of the food bank block referral, so the form itself, obviously, it contains the information that's needed about the client, but there's also a section in there where it explores in more detail the client's financial circumstances. So what has led to them to the point that they need that referral, and for a longer period of time rather than just a one-off or one or two off. And then also what steps are in place to try and improve their financial situation in the medium to long term. And that might be work that I'm doing with them, or other agencies that are going to be working with them, or waiting for the outcome of benefit applications, or debt support, that kind of thing. So it's rather than just directing them to the food bank for that immediate short-term help, it's trying to look at whether or not there's anything else, which we do anyway. But this kind of makes you go through the process with every client and sort of documents the support that's there. So the food bank can see what we're doing. They can think about anything else that they might be able to do, and between us we can try and find a better longer-term solution for that person's situation.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, brilliant. I think you covered a lot of bases there, Julie. Thank you very much, and welcome Amanda as well. And hopefully you'll come back and see us in a few months' time or something, and update us on what you've been up to as well and how you're settling in. And say you're very welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if not, feel free to head off. And thank you for your update. Thank you. Okay, item number 6. We've got members' questions. Nope. Okay. All right. Moving on to item 7, minutes and recommendations of the previous meeting. So we've got the annual assembly, which are really just to receive a note rather than to approve, because we have to approve them at the next annual assembly next year, by which time we may well have forgotten what happened, but we kind of that to follow the correct process. And the second lot are the annual statutory meeting, where of course we had the chairs and committees, but it was also then a full council meeting attached to it as well. So there's quite a bit in there to look at. So so what I'll do is we'll just I'll do the annual assembly first. Just to note, I'll go through it if there's anything to anything at this stage that needs flagging, but I'll just do it very quickly. So page 15, page 16, 17, 18, 9, hang on, 19, 20, and then 21. Okay, so that's so we're, yeah, sorry.
I'd just like to sort of put on record the fact that I think these are probably the most comprehensive
Yes.
notes for the annual assembly that we've had. But I actually genuinely think that they're helpful as an accurate record of what happened.
Yes.
And gives it a lot more context to the meeting. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Councillor Foster. That's absolutely correct, and thank you, Aja, for doing that. So we've basically received them, we've noted them. We'll just have to wait till next year to approve them. Okay, it is what it is, I'm afraid. So we've got the annual statutory meeting minutes, which obviously cover the full council meeting as well. So page 23, page 24, page 25, page stuck together, page 26. Councillor Thomas.
Sorry, can we go back to page 24?
Yes, that's fine. Yep.
I found my name as Deputy Chairman of Town Centre Management, which is news to me. So I don't know who's doing the job, but I didn't think I was, but there you go.
Okay, well, I think in all honesty, and I might ask the town clerk to comment on this, there were a number of committees and groups that we may not have been core if we didn't actually have names in them, for being entirely candid.
Okay.
So I do apologise, Councillor. I thought that had been communicated to you, but if not, I mean, I'm sure Councillor Patel will be, you know, a solid chairperson this year, but we did need a sort of another body in that role. So I'm being as apologetic as possible, but we were trying to factor in people's preferences, but at the same time to cover enough bases. Okay, so I apologise for that, but noted.
Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Barrett.
But I mean, it does, if Councillor Thomas doesn't want to do it, I'm very happy to do that if that would help.
Okay. Councillor Thomas, do you want to? I mean, it'll have to probably be done at the next TCM meeting, but.
Yeah, okay. Fine. I'm not bothered either way.
Okay. Do you want to make a decision then before the next TCM? You let me know.
Yes,
and then,
I will do.
Or sorry, let the town clerk know rather than probably.
It was just a surprise because nobody bothered telling me.
Okay.
I wasn't here because I.
No, I understand. I understand. Okay. All right. Well, apologies if that hadn't been communicated. I thought it had, but we are where we are. But if you feel you can't do it or you want to remove yourself, then just let us know before the next TCM, and then TCM can vote on the next, or the next deputy chair, if you like, at the next meeting.
Okay, will do.
Right, it's a few weeks away, I think, next TCM anyway, isn't it? Town clerk?
It is, I can't remember the date.
You got a date for that? Okay,
31st.
heading towards the end of July, so we've got a little while yet if you need to make a decision. Okay. Any more questions? Sorry, comments on the annual statutory meeting? Sorry, I lost track.
We got to 27, didn't we?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Foster. Sorry, 27. It was a lot in this meeting. Oh, sorry, Councillor Barrett. Yeah.
So there's a number of people that weren't at these meetings. And if Councillor Thomas is an example of that, could we just absolutely make sure that every single person is aware that in absence, they may have actually been put onto various committees? I think we just need to do a belt and braces to make sure everyone has been told.
We
Asked.
We can, and a number of people were informed, and that's why I'm surprised Councillor Thomas hadn't it hadn't been communicated because a number of people who were not here on the night had been, it'd been communicated they were going to be on committees or otherwise, if I can put it that way.
But if councillor Thomas is
Yeah.
on 1, 2, 3, 4 there,
Yeah.
in his absence, and he wasn't necessarily aware of some, I think it would be good just to make sure we're absolutely sure, given that it's an important process.
No, absolutely. I mean, my only scepticism a little bit is that if we end up reopening the debate about all the committees again, it could be a lot of hard work. I take your point, but okay, Councillor Strong.
Mr. Mayor, this is a proof of the correctness of the meeting. That's possibly more a matter arising for if there's further issues like that. But I understand the point made, but technically we're just approving the minutes as correct. That would normally be dealt with under matters arising.
Thank you, Councillor Strong, quite correct.
Can
Councillor
I just
Thomas.
say that minute isn't correct? That's what I'm saying.
Is it sorry?
That minute isn't correct. So.
Okay. I think we've noted that, but it's let's get to the end and then we can come back to matters arising. Okay. Page 28. Page 29. Page 30. Page 31. And page 32. Okay. So apart from the point that Councillor Thomas raised, that they are correct. I think we think they're a correct set of minutes, and then we'll come to the matters arising. Matters arising under 8B. So we'll go back again. Go on. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. The town clerk reminds me that on a number of the appointments, for want of a better word, it is listed as some members were about in absentia, etc. So, yeah, I mean, they're obviously members are willing to able to challenge that if they wish, but that was listed here that we were in danger of not being quorum on a number of committees and things. So that's why some people are nominated. But if there is an issue, then we can revisit that now. Well, not now, but we can revisit it now we've got the committees in place. Okay. So right, matters arising then, page 23. Page 24. Page 25. Page 26. Page 27. Councillor Foster.
13A. Members note the success of Town Centre Events Programme, emphasising the events are well organised and are well attended. However, it's request that details of upcoming events be circulated directly to members via email. I just want to raise the point there just to re-emphasise the fact that members should be made aware of events that are coming up via email in line with our requests. Thank you.
Yep. Understood. I think that goes for me, events going forward as well. Okay, page 27. Page 28. Page 29. Page 30. 31. And 32. Okay, apart from the issue of members either wishing to change committees or withdraw from certain committees, can we take these as a correct set of minutes? Yep. Okay. So just to re-emphasise that point, if members present are not happy with existing committees, can they contact the town clerk and we can then make sure that's on the agenda of the relevant committee going forward? Councillor Jones.
Can I just make a request then that request is emailed out to those who have who aren't in attendance today,
Yes,
rather
of
than
course.
waiting for the next minute, so that
Yeah.
they can make a timely decision as well, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I think it'll be
Thank you.
an all council email. Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Okay, right, good. So we've covered 7 and we've covered 8. Item number 9, items for consideration. Naming strategy for Land East and Furzenhall. Town clerk, do you want to do that? And then Councillor Foster wants to comment on that.
Yeah, I think we just really wanted to highlight that there will be a need coming up for the town council to have a strategy in terms of naming, street naming for the new development. I don't think we need to make a decision necessarily tonight on what that strategy is, what the themes are. I did write a rather in-depth report, which perhaps wasn't quite necessary for this evening, but it was really just to kickstart that conversation, get it on the radar so that we can actually start thinking about that, what our strategy might be in the future.
Chairman, if I may just follow on from
Councillor
that.
Foster, and then I'll come to Councillor
Yeah,
Barrett.
just in relation to this sort of subject came about as part of the Land East Design Forum, which obviously myself and a couple of other councillors attending. And really, it's just about having a strategy. So really the suggestion here was to try and get a theme that works for us, for the town. So, but it's an expandable theme naming strategy, so that in the event that the development were to be beyond 1,500 houses or whatever, we've got a clear strategy here. So I think what's happened in the past, where we've had developments come forward, we haven't really had a clear structure and strategy about what we might want to call it, and have ended up with perhaps quite small themes within a bigger development. I think the point here is about making sure we've got something that really works for us. I note that in the Central Beds Council street naming policy that's been provided, there is a number of recommendations there. I think what we've highlighted is that they're a guideline. Actually, when it comes down to it, there, as long as there is a reasonably thought out naming structure, if you like, that Central Beds are very sort of receptive to that. We've got, for example, on the King's Reach development, we've got scientists, we've got composers, we've got rivers, we've got lots of other things on there. So it's really about us coming up with a sort of cohesive plan, and really this is a start of the conversation, so that maybe next meeting it doesn't have to be done. We're nowhere near with a development at this point. It's just so that we can say it's been raised at this meeting, and the councillors are aware of it, and we'll come up with something in due course.
Okay. Councillor Barrett and then Councillor Strong.
Yeah, very, very positive to do it that way. But the sort of skeptic in me says that we've done things like this before, and I think Central Beds have chosen different names anyway. So I'm just a little bit sort of, if we do a lot of work on this, are they going to listen to us anyway? As I say, starting this was saying that the positive side of me says, yes, we should do something like this anyway, but I'm just a little bit concerned.
Okay, I'll let Councillor Foster comment on that one.
I understand your point of view, Councillor Barrett. In my experience on the bigger developments, I don't think what you're saying is necessarily entirely accurate. I think when it comes to the smaller individual roads, I think that's more likely to be the case. Yes. But when we've put forward bigger themes, the most recent one was Land North of Potton Road, no issues at all. So I think it's really about having a clear plan. This is why we bring it forward early and say, this is a cohesive plan. These are the names that we want to bring forward. And I think one of the things that is important is identifying what the main roads are and what the spine roads are in this development, and actually making sure that if we want a particular road name to be there, that we specify that as part of the development. And that applies not just to Land East, but also when it comes to, we've also got Furzenhall, that Land North of Furzenhall, that's going to be coming up at some stage. So again, that will need a naming strategy as well. And we could bolt on something on there. It does say about having something that links to the area, and the link around maybe having something agricultural. We did sort of band the idea around Carrot Close or Potato Road or something, but I'm not sure those sort of roads are going to be entirely suitable. So it's really about coming up with actually a strategy that works.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor. Councillor Strong.
Just following on from Councillor Foster's theme, perhaps it would be helpful if Officer could put together a list of themes and roads that we already have, because the important thing is we don't have duplication. Because I think we need to know what we've got so that we don't waste time thinking about, say, scientists or birds or whatever, because we've already got those. And say, looking at the Land North of Furzenhall, we could have a theme on Romans side because of the historical Roman connections there. So I think it'd be helpful in the future if we know what we shouldn't be looking at, because it just causes confusion.
Okay, I think that sounds reasonable.
rather than officers doing loads of
Yes.
work on that, I can probably name them off the top of my head. So
I
rather than doing that,
I think
I'll
Councillor
happily
Foster
provide that.
will send you an email, Town Clerk, about that. Now, obviously on page 37, there's a number of recommendations. Councillor Foster, do you want to agree to them now, or do you want to sort of defer this to another meeting, or?
My suggestion is at this stage, we defer it. Don't move any further forward with this, other than
Okay.
we've got an idea. We come back for members to sort of consider some ideas and bring it back to a future meeting.
Okay.
Let's not overthink it at this stage. It's just really about getting some ideas together and then
Okay.
for a future meeting.
So, yeah, so basically it's been noted, and as Councillor Foster was saying, we'll communicate the kind of existing themes already, if you like, so there's no duplication, then we'll bring this back to another meeting to be discussed. Okay, thank you, great. Thank you all. Right. 9B, proposed temporary road closure, Ash Road, Biggleswade. Anybody got anything on that one? No? Just to receive and consider, note it? No comments? Okay. Councillor Jones, you're looking a bit sad about that, sorry?
I'm noting it sadly.
Sadly, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
But
fine.
non-review, no, it's not even, it's fine. But yeah, it is what it is.
Fine, okay. All right, 9C then, proposed temporary road closure, Crabber Lane, Biggleswade. Well, the only comment I would make on that is it was only just dug up last year. And they appear to be being dug up again, but that's just an observation that it seems to be being dug up quite a bit. And it's quite a key road, but yeah, just note it otherwise. Okay. 9D, parking and road safety. I think this was to do with my motion around Biggleswade Academy on Kitelands and Mead End, but I don't know if there's any comments or questions that members want to make on I think there's some correspondence here from Central Beds, which seemed a little bit
Formulaic.
Yes, I think, yeah, that's a bit politer than what I was about to say, but yes, I think I mean, we kind of know all these things. This isn't really what we were asking them to do, but never mind. Councillor Strawn.
Yeah, it doesn't answer the question that we were raising in any shape or form. It just bats it down the road. Have we had a further response that's referred to at the end of the note of the agenda?
Town Clerk?
No, we haven't.
So we haven't received it within the 10 days. So perhaps we ought to note that we might review that at the next meeting to see if we've had the response.
Yeah, I think that's right, Councillor Strawn. Let's go back to this again, because none of this is to do with Fix My Street or any of this sort of stuff. It was about having a proper measure, if you like, around Kitelands Road, around car parking during school hours, whether that's a fixed or permanent measure or otherwise. But they don't seem to be able to commit to that in any of the emails. So, okay, sorry, Councillor Foster.
Yeah, it is a standard response, I think, but I think that the important thing here is that we're trying to do something positive.
Yeah.
Maybe this is an area where we could perhaps invite the ward members to support our, it's not even a petition, our concerns here, and actually then for them to support anything through traffic management. I think we need to put something together very clearly what we're looking for.
Yeah.
But that really does need support from the ward members, I think. So, but if we can come up with it would be helpful to have yellow lines in this particular case or whatever, that then is helpful for them and also for us to go forward with.
Okay, all right, we can discuss that going forward. Okay, thank you. Right, 9E, 800th anniversary of the Charter Market and St George's Day event. There's a motion from Councillor Patel from the annual assembly, if I remember correctly. Obviously, Councillor Patel isn't here this evening, but I think the motion is pretty clear as it's set out. So any comments or questions, please? Councillor Barrett?
Yes, I think it's a good idea. Yes, I think it needs further exploration.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're agreeing to any financial
No.
issues at this stage. I think, yes, I think it's something that's worth it. Obviously, there's a lot more to get into the detail exactly what it is, but I think, yes, I think we should at least consider it and take it forward.
Great, thank you. Councillor Strawn.
That's a proposal. I happily second it.
Okay.
But the one thing I do notice there is the St George's Day Parade. And historically, this country, villages, towns have had St George's Day parades. The Scouts and those organisations have been able to parade particularly. And I'm so sad that it seems to have died out for what is the National Saints' Day. And I think it would be not just for the 800th anniversary, but it'd be good to have the St George's Day parades back for those organisations that have taken part in the past.
Yeah. Okay. I think that can definitely be explored as part of the proposal. So we have a proposal and a seconder. So can we vote on that to take that forward to be further investigated then, please? All those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, great. Right. Item number 10, planning applications. 10A, 47 Home Court Avenue. Subject to neighbours? Yeah.
Subject to neighbours.
Subject to neighbours, okay.
I think the planning officer has already approved it, so we're just.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. 10th of June, yeah, it doesn't give you long anyway. 10B, Shortmead House, but it's a tree preservation order issue.
It's
Noted,
already been-
yeah.
Yeah.
10C, 104 The Bulk. Subject to neighbours, yeah. H2 Sun Street. Same again, yeah. And then 10E, I asked for the clarification of this, is that it is the A1 retail park because they put one London retail park, wherever that is, but the brackets have been added by our officers to explain it's the A1 retail park. Yes, Councillor Barrett.
It's Pure Gym.
Yes,
Yeah, so they're signs, isn't it, for Pure Gym,
yeah,
which is fine.
yeah,
No objection.
yeah, no, that's fine. That's good. Okay, no objection. 10F, then Flat 6 Ivor Mill.
There's already comments on the site. It's been on
Okay.
the page anyway.
Fine.
No objection.
Right, 10G Home Court, which is off London Road, new warehouse and distribution centre. Councillor Foster.
This is, seems a bit, I guess it's an extension of the distribution centre. It's a completely separate building. It involves a new road. I suspect where it's positioned or it's looking to be positioned will be visible from the A1. It's in a fairly, I guess I'm trying to think, come up with a proper planning reason for it. But Councillor Jones clearly has more idea. I'm just concerned about the size of the scale of the particular unit.
Absolutely.
And the fact there's an access road that's being proposed, which is a big access road in a sort of fairly non-urban area. I'm trying to come up with the right word. So I'll leave it there for now.
Okay, Councillor Jones.
I agree, and I actually reached out to fellow councillors for help. I wasn't sure where this was going, and I was poring over maps for ages. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out from the documentation on the CBC website. Then I was poring over Apple Maps and Google Maps, and I got myself in a bit of a state. I did notice there were concerns by CBC on light pollution and noise issues already concerned, so I would back that up wholeheartedly. But I'm almost sure, and I read them all, and I got myself in a bit of confusion if that was definitely, if they said we have concerns, but yet it's not enough to stop it. I'm not sure, but I'm not clear exactly where this is, if I'm honest with you, in order for us to comment as a council. So I'd be seeking further clarification.
Okay, that sounds.
I can tell you where it is. It's the other side of the A1.
I thought on the south roundabout.
No, it's essentially the other side of the A1. Currently, there's home
farm, isn't there?
There's a farm over there.
Yeah,
so
it's farm.
You can cross the where you cross the A1 in between the retail park and Home Court Avenue. There's a sort of a right of way there. You can cross the A1, and it's across the A1. There's a farm there, and it's an access road that they're looking to put in, which is a big access road, but it's across the A1, so it's separate from the town pretty much entirely.
Into the whole underpass bridge conversation, or I'm still thinking of the wrong area?
Not directly, no, because if this is a separate. It's not to do with an underpass at the moment, but if we were to have, if it were to go ahead, the access to the site is predominantly going to be via road, I would think,
For anyone on foot, there are access issues,
potentially.
There would be, yeah.
which would be dangerous.
Yeah. Councillor Strong.
Yes, if I've got this site right, it's close to the southern roundabout in Biggleswade.
I think so.
And you'll notice that after the southern roundabout, there is an exit already lined up for the development that Central Beds Council are looking at doing there. And in that respect, if it is going to put another access onto the A1 other than off that roundabout, I would be very concerned at that. I know they've already got an access there to go on there, but is it suitable for the nature of the traffic that's going to be in there if it is using the existing access to this particular site? If it was taking it off the roundabout directly, that might be a better solution, but will that interfere with Central Bed's own plans for the development or proposed development, which I think they're still looking at, of that whole area to the west of the A1 there? So I do have concerns about the access to and from, forgetting the issue about if people are working there, how they're going to get into Biggleswade in one form or another, because we've got the issue of crossing the A1 north of the northern roundabout. We have got another issue here because it is again a very busy stretch of road. So if it's going directly onto the dual carriageway part of the A1, I think it is inappropriate, and I think it's potentially very dangerous. And I think that if there was the alternative access where the Highways Authority have already determined that there should be one there, if it was coming off, the access was coming off that part of it, might make sense. But increasing the size of what is basically a farm exit at the moment, it strikes me as absolutely ludicrous.
Okay, so we're not necessarily opposing it, but we would like more information. Is that what I'm kind of picking up? Is that?
I think we were expressing concern that the access is inappropriate for the nature of the development and that an alternative access would be preferred, although the development might otherwise be appropriate subject to the other issues that have been raised about light pollution, etc., etc.
Okay, right. Councillor Barrett.
I wrote down that at this stage, I don't have enough information and I'd rather leave it to other people who are planning officers and things like that at this stage until something a little bit more complete comes to us.
Okay. Right.
At this stage, I'd say no objection on
Yeah.
what we've actually been presented with.
Yeah, okay. Go on, Councillor Foster.
I think if the plans themselves are a little bit sketchy,
Yeah.
they don't make it very clear where the A1 is. That's what the issue is. It doesn't make it very, very clear. We know where the A1 is,
Yeah,
obviously, but the
but
plans
in
don't
relation to that
show
map,
the
yeah.
site in relation to the A1. Were that to be clearer, I think it would then make it easier for members to make a bit more of an informed decision. So I take
Yeah.
the point there. I'm still concerned about the fact that it's sort of currently a sort of a green space. It's not not an urban space, and by putting a large warehouse in that area, I think is inappropriate. So I would object to it on that basis, and in addition to that, make reference to the access onto the A1, given there's an additional traffic as a result of a larger warehouse being proposed on that site. So I would propose an objection on those grounds.
Is there a seconder for that? Okay. Okay, all right. So all those in favour of supporting the objection as outlined by Councillor Foster? Okay. All those against? Okay, thank you. That's carried. Okay, but I think that was a big emphasis on getting more information from Central Beds. Okay, thank you very much. 10H, 79 Sun Street. Subject neighbours. I2 Lawrence Road. Same again. Subject neighbours. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Planning appeals then. 10J. Unit B, Normandy Lane. Councillor Foster.
Given that we've already made reference to Pure Gym and signage on the A1 retail park, it seems ironic that this application does actually relate to an application that Pure Gym want to build or want to be as part of this development. And the issue on this one is about access onto page Pegasus Way.
Yeah.
And the issue there is that it's the highways officers has basically said it's not safe to have that and access onto Pegasus Way, given there's a road opposite. So not quite sure how. Obviously, there's an appeal here. We had no objection to it. The highways officer haven't supported it, and it's come back again. I suspect the same concern will be put forward. It seems to me that at some stage there needs to be a conversation between the developers here and the landowners on the adjoining site to have some sort of arrangement there. I do note that in the application that it also suggests that maybe the developers might want to engage with Central Bed's planning team to get some pre-application advice.
Okay, thank you for that. Councillor Strawn.
If I'm reading the agenda correctly and the letter correctly, this is a planning appeal. So
Yes.
we're not really in a position to comment further at this stage unless we want to make representations to the inquiry. And in that respect, I don't think we actually feel that we wish to strongly enough to actually have representation.
No, that's fine. You're quite right. Councillor Strawn does say to receive information related to the planning appeal, but I just didn't know if members still felt strongly about it. That was all. Okay, so we can move on that one. So 10K, also planning appeal. This was about the EV charging points, I think, at the retail park, which we objected to before. Note it, or Councillor Barrett?
Well, the information there is exactly the same,
Yeah.
but the officers are objected to it on ecology grounds.
Yeah.
I think we're supporting that, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Councillor Jones, did you have anything else to say?
No, I was going to say exactly
It's the
that.
same point, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an irony there about ripping up trees to have electric chargers, I think, but let's move on. And number 11, planning application outcomes, which I think we've got the chart in the pack. Anybody got any comments or questions on that? Nope. Okay. Item number 12 then. Accounts, internal audit final report 25-26. And I think I'm going to have to sign some things shortly, Ernest tells me. So do you want to just quickly outline, Ernest, what the procedure and process is for this? And then if members have got any questions, we can do that and move on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think first of all, I will introduce the final internal audit report first, and then we will move on to the AGA. So officers received the final report in May, and the internal auditor observed that the council has effective internal controls in place, including effective budgetary procedures. There were minor recommendations from the internal auditor. One of them being she did ask officers to look through the reserves to make sure that there is no restricted funds in there. I can confirm that. I have checked, and our reserve doesn't have any 106 or any other restricted funds. She did. The internal auditor, however, mentioned that we include in our general reserve policy the definition of restricted fund, which I have done that, which is included in Appendix B. So the main recommendation is for members to please consider the final internal auditor report and also approve the revised reserve policy. I think I'll pause here.
Okay, thank you, Ernest. Any comments, questions from members? Councillor Strawn?
I think the report is a very good one. I think the main point, and I think it's important that it's noted, is the change to the addition to the policy. Whether we have to give any notice on that to deal with it as we do sometimes with standing orders or not, I'm not sure. But this is in case we receive funds from a specific source that can only be used for a specific purpose, so that it is different from the general reserve, which can be used for anything that comes along. We may be receiving monies in hopefully the near future, which can only be used for limited purposes, and this is just formalising that. And I hope a report will go to finance in due course, just setting out how the operational side of that will work with regard to assuring the funds are designated separately, rather like we have with the charity we were involved in.
Yes, with Lindsay, yeah, okay, thank you. Councillor Barrett.
Yeah, second that. I thought excellent report, excellent documents. And on the bottom of page 63, I think it is, the auditor's conclusion talks about the quality of the work in highlighted and the documents presented for the audit. So I think that should be noted if possible.
Okay.
That, we are all very appreciative of that work.
That's good, thank you. Okay, we do need to probably vote on this, I think, just to get an agreement. So all of those in favour of the report as outlined under 12A, show of hands for and approve that. Yeah, that's unanimous. And I think also the point there about the internal auditor is well made as well. So thank you, Ernest, for your hard work on that, and the wider finance team as well, I should say as well. So 12B, we've got item 12B 1 and 2. So I've got to now sign, I think, the AGAR section 1 bits, which I don't know if the so you need to approve it first, okay, and then I need to sign it, right? Okay, so right, okay. Do members
We approve.
You're going to say thank you, Councillor Strawn. Approve me signing the annual governance statement and accountability return. Okay, right. Yes, we put it. Okay, so can we have a show of hands then for supporting that? Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Foster. Yeah, all those in favour? Councillor Barrett. Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
A question
Right, sign anything until the question's been
on
answered.
page 76 in bold. We must inform our external auditor about any change of clerk. Can I just get confirmation that the external auditors have been told?
Sorry, I didn't hear the rest of your question, Councillor Barrett. Sorry.
Page 76.
Yep.
Halfway down in bold. You must inform your external auditor about any change of clerk. Can I have confirmation that's been done, please?
Ernest.
Yes, please. This will be done.
Well spotted, Councillor Barrett. I had made the assumption, but thank you for asking the question. Councillor Strawn.
It also refers to the responsible financial officer also having been notified, because that obviously has changed as well. So I'm assured that everybody's been notified that required to be in accordance with that, although that relates to last year rather than this year. Although
yes,
you would have had to notify it when the town clerk left in the interim, because you were the responsible financial officer at that time. So probably there's been a couple of reports that have been needed.
Okay, well, I think that has been appropriately minuted that has in fact taken place. So we now have an audit trail that we've asked that question. Okay, so members are happy for me to sign that. I will now sign this. Which bit is it? That one?
Sign here.
The top one. Okay, yeah, brilliant.
And then the next bit you need to go through.
Right, okay, tell me again. All right. Okay, just talk amongst yourselves for a second. Okay, I think that's yours, isn't it? Yeah, you do the rest on that one. Yeah, great. Okay, that the first part has now been signed, and then what do I need to read out there?
Go through the.
And this, okay. Okay, and then we now have to go through and approve section 2 of the accounting statement, which is here, page 5 and 6. Any questions or comments about that before I sign it? And then, well, we need to vote and then I'll sign it. No, oh, okay. So, okay, so all those in, all those in favour of me signing the accounting statement.
We approve and the mayor signs.
Thank
and
you.
the town clerk signs as appropriate.
Thank you very much. Right. Yeah, I think we need a seconder and yeah. Okay. Well, we've got a problem if we don't agree to sign it, so I'm kind of working that we did, but anyway, yes. But yes, so we've got a proposer and seconder there, so that's good. Is that everything?
Yeah.
Okay, those forms are both appropriately signed in the meeting now, so we can deal with that. Just so colleagues know, the AGAR will be published on the Town Council website and be displayed on our Town Council notice boards as of tomorrow, I think.
We note it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Strawn. Okay, item 12C, financial administration. We've got the position of and accounts for April 2026, obviously month one financial year. Do you want to say anything very quickly, Ernest, and then we can, if members have got any comments?
No, Mr. Mayor, I'll take the report as read.
Okay. Shouldn't be too complicated, only being the first month, so hopefully that's okay.
That's right.
Great. All right, are members happy with that?
Noted.
Duly noted. Okay, brilliant. All right, moving on to items for information, number 13. So 13A, colleagues will note there's been a short paper from the Deputy Administration HR Manager over the Mayor's charities this year. We've raised in the past year circa £2,500, which I think is pretty good, considering the financial climate and challenge around all fundraising at the moment. And there will be there's kind of movements ahead around donating that money and doing a presentation to the two charities, Magpass and Biggleswade Good Neighbours for for the previous year. I also wanted to say for this coming civic year, so 26-27, the two charities I'll be supporting. Well, the first one will be I'll continue with Magpass Air Ambulance. I think they've been a great organisation to be connected with, and obviously have a real impact on local residents and Bedfordshire more broadly. And then the other charity I'll be supporting will be the, it's rather symmetrical actually that Julie raised it earlier, will be the Biggleswade Baptist Church Food Bank as well. And it sounds very much like an organisation that needs some support in this coming year as well. So there were the two charities going forward. And I've been in touch with both of those in previous days, and they're happy to obviously continue. Well, one to continue with the support, and the other one to have support for the coming year. So just to note that, colleagues. Yeah, Councillor Barrett, then Councillor North.
Just a pedant's question in a way. The 2,500, I'm assuming, will be split 50-50 between the two charities.
No, not quite. No, we're having a slightly there'll be a slightly bigger weighting towards Magpass Air Ambulance than Biggleswade Good Neighbours, just reflecting on the scale of their activity. Yeah, so it'd be roughly 1,500 for one and 1,000 for the other. Okay, Councillor North.
Yeah, well, that leads on to my question really, is why are we talking about approximately 2,500? You're saying roughly this and roughly that. Why don't we have exact figures?
I don't know. It's a good question, but it's I think there may be a couple of bits still to add up. I'm not sure, but I don't know if Ernest is able to comment on that. But it is only marginally over 2,500 in terms of an actual figure. But if you're able to get that,
that's right. So there is slightly over £2,000 in a way. But we will make sure that exact amount is transferred to both charities.
Yeah,
there will be nothing left.
Yeah,
with us.
Yeah, I think, Ernest, what would be helpful is when we've got the exact figure to probably the pence we don't need to worry about, but maybe the pounds. If we could just you pass that on to me and I can circulate that to members, or if you want to send that to members when we've got an exact precise figure. If
right, yeah, I'll do that.
All right, but yeah, good. Okay. Hope colleagues are able to support some of those activities in the year going forward. 13B, resident article related to the A629 bridge. That was circulated to members separately, I think. Relates to the ongoing discussion around North Hill and the underpass to North Hill. C, Ivor Valley School update. We've had a letter from, I think, the head teacher and chair of governors there. That was circulated too. And obviously with Ivor Valley, there's been a lot of discussion about what's happening there on the site in due course, and maybe we'll get an update on that at a future meeting, perhaps, in so much as it impacts on the town and obviously our support for that redevelopment under the previous option 4. London Road resurfacing, again, that's been circulated to members, but clearly there's been. Sorry, Councillor Barrett.
Yes. I agree with that, of the Ivor Valley School, but I think we said that option 4 was the one.
We did, that's right, yes. Yeah, I mean, what's happened on that, I didn't want to get into too much detail because it was just an item for information, but for those members that are not aware, obviously the town council backed an option, what was called option 4, which was from Central Beds, which is a completely new build site towards sort of land east development. Central Beds Council have gone back and essentially created a new option 1, which looked at elements of the old option 1A and I think 1B, which essentially is a rebuild or partial development on the existing site of Ivor Valley. And I know members had concerns about that because of disruption and dysregulation for the young people there and so on and so forth. So there is still a lot to, that's what Central Beds are committed to doing, but there's still obviously a matter of debate about mitigating those the bad things around it. Councillor Barrett.
So I didn't quite finish. For me, their reasoning behind it was financial at the end.
Yes, yeah.
That they didn't have enough money to do option 4.
Yeah.
So for me, why did we have those options in at the beginning? Because I would have had a pretty good idea with my financials that I wouldn't have had enough money to do those options anyway, and not spend all the money on the consultation and waste other people's time like ourselves.
Yes.
And I think that is something I'd like to just note, that we're not very happy that having gone through all that and discussed it and spent a lot of time, had some great presentations from the school about what they would like. And now it seems as if the school are very happy with number 1. It feels as if something else has happened behind the scenes that perhaps I'm not aware of anyway, but I just like it noted that I would have liked our opinions to have been taken into account more. And had they have said to us at the beginning they didn't have the money, then I wouldn't have bothered discussing option 4 in the first place. Yeah,
no, yeah, absolutely, Councillor Barrett. I quite agree. And I think it does feel as though the consultation has been a bit of an illusion in some ways, because why put an option 4 on there if you weren't going to be able to do it in the first place? So, and I think the community have been very disappointed with the way that's happened as well. So I think it's noted, and I think possibly it's not really the school's fault in particular, but I think we need to reach out to Central Beds Children's Services, probably the lead there, Gareth Mackey, and just maybe we can articulate an email to him, putting that forward, those concerns forward and our concerns forward. Councillor Foster, you want to raise a point on that?
It's that point. I think what I would like to say, though, I agree with that point entirely. Yeah. What I would like to say, though, that given that the circumstances that Central Beds have found themselves in for whatever reason, I think we need to take the positive from the situation, given that the school are now supportive of that approach and very clear on what's going to happen next. I think what we should be doing is being very close to the detail on what's happening there. And whilst expressing our concern and the frustration about a consultation that really wasn't a consultation that was worthwhile from that point of view, and having viewed a Central Beds Children's Services Overview and Scrutiny Committee where the executive member was willing to receive comments and was open to suggestions to actually then have this option 1 as being the result, given that Children's Services OSC also supported option 4.
Yes.
It's a frustration, but we are where we are. I think our positive message is let's go forward and support the school and try and get the best out of this situation.
I think that's right, Councillor Foster. I mean, you have to also remember option 4 was removed, but option 1 wasn't also on the consultation either. It was an option 1A and a 1B. It wasn't a new option 1. So that was an entirely new option that was presented at a later stage. But anyway, Councillor Straw and then Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have concerns over the whole process here for a number of reasons. One of the things, there's still issues over safeguarding because of the bridle way that runs right through the middle of the school. But if the school are satisfied that it provides the right facilities for the children, I think we should be supporting the school. But it doesn't overcome the issues on the financing, because Central Beds Council, I believe, has managed to use up about 68% of its reserves in the last 4 years, which is a quite frightening sum. And I think this is one of the issues around it. And I'm not sure they've necessarily considered all the options with regard to redevelopment and other things that were apparent when one looked at it. And also, I think another issue is central government funding, because at one stage there was looking at a possibly a free school academy type arrangement for the area, and that was underway. And then the plug got pulled by effectively, I think, by the Department for Education. So central beds, I have some sympathy with them because I think they've been let down badly by central government. But I think we are where we are. But my concern is for the families and the children and the staff who've got to make this work. And I hope it will work, and I think we should continue to support the school. And if the school wishes to make representations and we can do anything to help, I think we should continue to support that. But I think the main thing is we support the school, but I do have concerns over it, notwithstanding the school are now happy.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Jones, did you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, just I think my fellow councillors have pretty much said all of it. The only few things that were running through my mind when I read the item for information was I'm sure central beds finished on an underspend for the previous financial year, so that's a bit confusing in itself. And I think I read the piece from Ivor Valley, which I thought was really positively framed. So I wonder if there's a way that we can be more proactive in supporting them rather than waiting for them. They've been very good in coming to us whenever they've needed help, but if there's anything we can do as a council to be more proactive in going to them as we go through this journey, because I think my personal concerns about the disruption to the students still stands, and I'm sure that would be the same for everyone. So whatever it is that we can do as a council, whether that's as councillors or as officers or combined, I think we should be proactive rather than waiting.
Okay, I mean, I think that's a good point, Councillor Jones. And actually, I mean, those of us that have visited the site know, the condition of it and know the kind of situation that they're in. I think are obviously supportive of improving those facilities. If members are happy, I'm happy as chair of council to write to or contact the chair of the governors there and the head teacher if you wish, and just convey council's request that if there's anything else they feel that we can help them with, I can do that on our behalf if everybody's happy with that. Especially as we've had dialogue with them already, so it's be consistent. So unless there's any objections, I can, if that can be minutes, and I'll follow that up separately. So brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we covered, so that's Ivor Valley. I think we did London Road resurfacing. I think there's an acknowledgement that it's needs doing. It is sort of being done, but maybe not as quickly as we like. Councillor Strawn, then Councillor Barrett.
It's not often that I agree with Councillor Whitaker's comments, but I think her comments with regard to the rationale that London Road should be resurfaced and not Alban Way, which is a cul-de-sac just serving an industrial area.
Yep.
And yet the main road into the town is in such an appalling state. And I think that every time I drive down there, and that's only a day or two apart, there seems to be an additional pothole. And I'm getting quite good at the slalom at the moment in trying to keep my car wheels intact. So I think central beds need to address that. Maybe National Highways should be doing it because it is a major road in that respect, but it is an absolute disgrace and is declining by the day. So it can't wait. It needs to be done. And anything that we can do to support central beds and they're getting it in order, the better. But I am concerned that the officer who's dealing with it, I'm not sure she necessarily knows where Biggleswade is if she doesn't know the state of that road.
I think that's right, Councillor Strawn. It's very much turning into a sort of Formula One chicane kind of approach up there. I mean, of course, that London Road is an A1 alternative route, so you might be onto something with a leaning on national highways. But Councillor Barrett and then Councillor Thomas.
I think in Councillor Whitaker's comments, she's asking for a visit on the 15th of June. I think it would be good if someone from the council or officers would actually go along with her as well to further reinforce any comments she's got.
Okay. Go on, Town Clerk. Yep.
Just to say, I believe it's been confirmed at 2 p.m. on the 15th of June, that meeting.
Okay. Maybe we can.
We agree for someone to go.
I think we can do that, Councillor Barrett. Yeah, we could maybe circulate an email and council happy with that too. Yeah, go on. I'll get to Councillor Thomas and Councillor Jones, and then if any other questions, Councillor Thomas.
Yeah, this is a bit baffling really, because when CBC asked us last year what roads they would think we would like to have resurfaced, I immediately said priority has got to be London Road. It's our main road, and then just completely disregarded it so far this year.
Hmm.
So we need to push them harder.
Okay, well, it sounds like there's potentially some movement there if there's this meeting on the 15th of June. So it doesn't say, I don't know quite where on London Road they're going to meet 'cause it's quite a long road, but I suppose you can find out. Absolutely. Councillor Jones.
I very much doubt this is a connection, but would whoever's coming out to meet Councillor Whitaker, would they be the same person that we would be, or the same department we'd be asking regarding the Kitelands conversation from earlier, or is that completely different? Just thinking if there's somebody coming already. I have no idea, it just popped into my head, so just as
That's a good point. One is possibly more around parking enforcement
Yeah.
rather than
But if we're
highways
thinking about yellow
development,
lines
but
and things like
yeah,
that, I
and
didn't
that's an
know.
interesting point.
I'm not sure. Anyway, it's just an
Well, yes, I mean, that
Can
could
ask
be
the question.
it could be a lobbying opportunity for at the same time. I do agree. Okay, I'm sure we can find somebody off for the 15th of June at 2 p.m. If we circulate an email, town clerk, we can do that and get somebody. I think everyone felt that was a good idea. And if not, could an officer be made available perhaps? Yeah, if we can't get a member. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, great. Item number 14 then, public open session. Is anyone online? No. Okay. Right. Do I have to do this preamble now for exempt? Someone here, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So right, bear with me. Again, this is the exempt 3.0 or whatever it is. Item number 15. So members of the Town Council will vote to enter an exempt session due to the confidential nature of the business to be transacted. This will include matters related to financial affairs of the authority and or ongoing negotiations, as well as confidential personnel matters, which may involve personal data and commercially sensitive information. If members resolve to proceed into the exempt session, members of the public and press will be excluded from the meeting under Section 1(2) of the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960, and the live streaming of the meeting is terminated. Thank you. Any officers not required for the discussion of personnel matters will be asked to withdraw. I think the HR bit's towards the end anyway, so officers can leave prior to that point. So are we all happy to go? Can we all vote on going into exempt session? All those in favour? Great, brilliant, thank you. Now moving to exempt session, thank you.